And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today for another edition of the Fan-gard. Please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you are enjoying this content. Well, welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Fan-gard. My name is Mark, and I marched Santa Clara from 1997 to 2001.
And I'm John. I marched in Santa Clara from 1979 through 1981.
And we are very excited to have you today. Today, ladies and gentlemen, is one of our most requested shows on the Fan-gard, and that is 2000, the year 2000.
Why?
And this is the Santa Clara Vanguard Cadets and their championship performance, Division II championship performance. Amazing. I was there. I was in the audience, and it was such a hype. And so we've got a great panel for you today, some very, very special guests. And I want to start with Mr. Sandoval. Mr. Sandoval, thank you. This is your second appearance on the Fanguard. Oh, my goodness.
All right, I'm Julio Sandoval. I marched in the Santa Clara Vanguard Cadets in 99 and 2000, and then I graduated onto the Vanguard A Corps in 2001 through 2003.
Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Sandoval. And all the way from San Jose, we have Mr. Darnell Johnson. Thank you for being with us, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it here. Darnell Johnson. I marched from the Santa Clara Vanguard Cadets from 1996 through 2000, aged out in 2000 when I was one of two age outs in 2000. Went on to become the drum major at San Jose State. I am now the horn-line instructor at the Spirit of Sunnyvale Sound Sport team. I'm still doing the thing, I'm still doing the marching thing. My daughter's waiting to get into Santa Clara.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for being here. All right, next, let's go to one of my favorite instructors when I was marching in the Santa Clara. This is Mr. Bryan Williams. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Bryan Williams, I marched in the Cadet Corps in 92 through 94. Then I marched A Corps 95, 96. Then I went on to teach the Cadet Corps and the visual staff 97, 98, and 2000. Then I taught the A Corps visual staff 2001 to 2004. And then I went back to teach the Cadet Corps on their brass staff from 2008 to about 2017.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again, Bryan, for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very, very excited to introduce the new interim executive director of the Vanguard Music and Performing Arts. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jeremy Van Wert.
Yeah!
Thank you. Thank you. It actually feels really strange. But I'm Jeremy Van Wert. I marched in the Vanguard Cadet Corps drumline in 95. I marched in the A Corps 96, 97, and 98, and then went directly into teaching the Cadet Corps for several years, including 2000. And then came back recently in the last couple of years to be on the board of directors. And there was a need for a interim executive director, and I'm filling that as of Wednesday. Thanks for having me.
I can speak for the entire alumni in saying how excited we are to have you, Jeremy. And we know that you are the right man for this job, especially in this time. Just understand the entire tidal wave of the alumni of the Santa Clara Vanguard, both Cadet Corps and A Corps, are behind you, sir. We commend you. We salute you.
Thank you. The amount of support and offers that I've received, they're just overwhelming and wonderful. So thank you.
That is great to hear. Year 2000, Santa Clara Vanguard Cadets, a Division II championship show. And as I said earlier, I was in the audience along with the entire A Corps. Thank you, Rick Valenzuela, for allowing us to come to watch the Division II championships. I think it was Friday.
Wednesday night.
Excuse me. Wednesday night. Got in our Corps jackets and went and hyped up because you guys were going into it.
If you go back and look at earlier scores, they were going back and forth with Mandarins, Blue Stars. It was not
the Mandarins all season long.
Yeah, it was not a done deal by any means. And then to come into finals or into prelims, you guys were 3.5 tenths in front of Mandarins. It turned into a 1-2 race, basically.
Yeah.
So you're,
Mandarins.
yeah. And
That was our first night at prelims. Was our first time beating the Mandarin. So
we were taking the picture when they announced the score, and it took a couple of minutes for everybody to realize that we had won. And once we ran back to the buses and let everybody know, hey, we won. And that rehearsal the next day was incredible.
Wow.
wow.
Yeah,
I can only
we
imagine.
knew we had that
Amazing.
bullseye on our
And
back now.
That hype. Awesome. Well, you guys, what was the name of the show in 2000?
Journey Out of Darkness.
Journey Out of Darkness.
Yeah,
Actually,
the opener was the Dream of Angus by Rolf Ruden.
That's a tough. That's the hard one to pronounce.
Yeah, that was
then
great.
there was that was good. Then the second production, I think it's a David Holsinger piece, Song of Moses, and I think every corps is doing Holsinger, so you got to have a little Holsinger in your show in the late '90s. So
Right.
that was ours, and then I remember the rest of it was like Stephen Mielo pieces, just kind of a smattering.
It was like Escape from Plato's Cave or something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, so you got to read the Republic to get the show. So get your philosophy books out.
Wow. So it's a deep show. It's got some meaning.
I think this is the first show that actually was trying to do like a story. That's that was what's kind of as we watch this show, it's a development from darkness to light. You're going to see that in the color guard costuming primarily. We'll kind of talk about it as the show goes, but it's like I think it was really the first attempt for the Cadet Corps to try to pull off like, hey, we're going to try to tell a story, which was like, it's not reinventing the wheel, but it was the first time for our staff to do that.
The members themselves, though, I remember I have a recording from the April camp where the music is right in front of us, and we couldn't play it. It was horrible. I remember the staff saying they were concerned that we weren't going to make finals. That's how bad we were. And we worked so hard to get to where we were. And being one of the two age outs there, I watched these children. I mean, we had 13 and 14-year-olds in the Corps that year, and they worked their butt off. I watched them become young adults. You know what I mean? Coming from children, and to see the progression throughout the year, just watching everybody just come together and get rid of all the animosity and work together to achieve this one goal that was almost unattainable at some point in the year. And it was a magical journey just from start to finish.
The percussion program was reasonably good from 99 going into 2000, and it was Dave DeLulo and I and several others that were working with this percussion program. And looking at the lineup of people that were in this drum line, so many people went on to do just absolutely wonderful things. So many people are still doing great things. Casey Brohard is in this line, and he became an absolute all-star over at Blue Devils and remains so. Mark Bennett was in the tenor line, and his career has just been absolutely fantastic, working with big name bands like Korn and Shinedown, and so many wonderful names, Prince and Pink, and so forth, working on the stage setup every single night. Very hard work, and so many other people that I'll probably point out as we go, but just a terrific group of young people, and that drumline just gelled. It just kept going through the whole summer to be just a fantastic little drum line.
Well, you guys, what are some of the big highlights of the show that we want our audience to be looking for as we're watching this?
So I remember the first big hit was the waterfall, where the drum line kind of pushes the entire horn line down that leads into like the two wave patterns that travel back and forward at different tempos.
I want to point out that the first 30 seconds is one drill move. In fact, I remember our first like drill camp was like, he's like, hey, I sent you some drill, and this was like when you mail drill, so I went to the hall to pick it up. In a FedEx, whatever. It's like there's an envelope, like, great, we've got some drill. And I call them up, Oliver, there's 2 pages. What's this? It's like, okay, but it's 60 counts. It's like, okay. Another thing about the show to look for is like kind of the journey from dark to light. You're going to see that color guard costuming primarily. I think we rated the Vanguard costume room because the opening uniform is from 95, I believe. It's the overlay they were using. The Cadet Corps uniform, the Corps proper, that's the 96 that was, you know, repurposed. And I think they used it for a couple more years after. And then you'll see the color guard, they remove the copper outfit, and they have the you know, the really bright blue uniform going from the second movement, and then they have a white overlay. Really simple. Like, none of these are like, you know, groundbreaking, but the fact that we are trying to pull this off, costume changes for the Cadet Corps, it's like, what are we thinking, you know? But, you know, it's like just bringing that sophistication, you know, into this age group was just fascinating for us to work out.
Oh wow, this is going to be exciting, you guys. Are you ready to watch this?
Yeah.
Let's do this. I'm excited.
Vanguard Cadets, you may take the field for Division II Finals.
The A-Corps, our biggest fans that year.
Yeah.
That was so cool to see that.
Such a hype.
Such great support.
So this whole sequence is moving just one drill move on paper. So I was talking about it earlier.
You know, I still have every piece of drill from this year. I kept everything.
All those curvilinear pathways.
Fun to work out for sure. And see the color guard in that, you know, kind of talk about that really dark costuming. Borrowed from the 95 A-Corps show, I believe.
I didn't see that Justin Dub until I actually got to watch the video.
I love the energy coming off the field here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
this opener to me, just the visual in my head, a few years before had been the Sleepy Hollow movie that came out, and I always would just feel that headless horseman going through the forest with this song.
And that was that move Darnell was just talking about, that compression.
Yeah.
I remember how
This was one of my
aggressive
favorite visual
you guys
moments.
were, and it was just such a hype to watch because I love that Vanguard aggression, that angsty, and you guys just brought it that year. So clean, you guys, so clean.
There are straight lines there.
And you know, we don't talk about the color guard. You know, they're pretty good. It's really
Doing it.
Yeah, and
Like
I remember that
3 different rewrites, if I remember correctly.
we brought Mark Metzger in. You know, he had done some great work with the A-Corps, you know, for the previous few years, and you know, a good friend of Oliver's. He was able to come in and help us with some phrases, and you know, just so many fingerprints on this show from incredible talent. So it's just real fun to work with those people.
My wife taught the color guard.
Yeah.
And the group of girls were just so enthusiastic and so fun to work with, and she had such a good time because the attitude was so positive and everybody was so excited to be there.
Yeah, that was a really good guard. I remember cleaning some work checkpoints and stuff at some point. It's like, let's get this working. Let's work this out.
The rotating bulbous,
With the half-time cup is trying.
yeah.
This is cool.
This is
Well, and that drum feature was no joke either.
Those are the 99 drums, if I remember correctly, so kind of a bit of good luck from the A-Corps.
So cool, you guys. So cool.
Fun fact, Lindsay back there went on to march trumpet with the A-Corps.
Oh wow!
Very
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
I remember the ending of the opener changed maybe 5 or 6 times before we got to finals.
Yeah. At one point, it was like a long note, just that bop, bop.
Yeah.
And that's good to be able to do that. You know, some, you know, previous years you might not be able to change parts, you know, on the fly. You know, it's like, no, they just got to learn it. But, you know, it's a good mark of the maturity to be able to make changes well into the season. Just doing everything you can to make your show the best it can be. It's really fun to have a
So, Boston Crusaders came in 5th place in world competition, and we built better arcs than they did.
And you can see, yeah, so we, you know, the color guard has now changed.
Ooh.
Obviously, we can see that.
That direction change. I don't know who that gentleman was, but I just want to give it up.
That was Scott. That was Scotty Too Hotty in his little feet.
Oh yes, Scotty Too Hotty.
545 here. This was fun.
You guys are manhandling those horns, like alternates, all the different visuals. It was so cool to watch. It's so fun to watch right now.
Great design moment there.
And it's like,
geez.
when did the color guard
Progression,
change?
wow.
You know? Yeah.
And then the colorful flags highlighting the light color costumes because of the lighter mood. And great saber work too.
Yes.
Yeah, this drum major, she was so dedicated. She was such a fantastic person and a good young leader.
Kelly, right?
Kelly.
Kelly.
That is correct. And she just had her heart so far into this. She's a fantastic drum major.
It takes a lot of energy to get through this show, you guys.
Yeah, this
You're bringing it.
was, we pretty much worked on this movement every day in our visual blocks. It's
Oh my
like,
goodness.
This is so cool.
yeah,
Kind of rotating circles there with the condense.
Oh man.
yeah,
Out of town
everything
camp,
is,
me and Allison slammed into each other doing that move, and I put my hands under my face because I hit my mouthpiece had hit my face. I pulled down and there's blood there. I still have those gloves.
yeah, a little bit of danger, a little bit of danger in this. But yeah, this is a beautiful ballad, and everything in the visual program is so intentional. Nothing is just not thought of.
That was Maurice on Contra, went on to the A Corps the next year.
I want to give props to the drill rider again. The motifs that keep reoccurring really do a great job in tying the show together. Whether it be the circles, the waves, and now here we are with the color guard, really coming into the light with this white.
I like this moment how the texture of, if you look at the horn line proper just in their visual staging, and how they were in these little pods, but then they're coming together just like out of nowhere, and all of a sudden,
there's so few times that I can say that a G bugle sounds like a B flat horn, and that young lady just made that so beautiful.
That's Katie Coleman, yeah.
Yes.
She went on to the A Corps the next year. If you watch the 2001 at the end of the show, she's the swinging pendulum arm at the very end of New York Metropolis.
That's right.
Great member. It's amazing banger too.
So beautiful.
I'm just looking at the marching technique of this corps, and they're so good. They move so solid. They look like a corps much older than what they are.
Yes, agreed.
There was just a lot of buy-in right away. I think just the intentionality with the membership and just the drive that they had to be good and to be excellent. That was apparent.
A lot of it also has to do with the fact that they did so well in '98 that there was almost a little bit of expectation of like, well, we can't be the corps that doesn't make finals for Division II. We've got to at least be somewhat competitive. And hey, there was a lot of expectation.
And you guys are doing like Cavalier style drill here, and it's I don't remember, we were down low. I don't remember seeing all that stuff. So getting a little higher perspective, man, you guys are just rocking.
I'm so distracted now by the performance of this color guard, and how they're everywhere at once, and they're just living it.
Yeah, if you look at how everything is so connected here, the color guard pulling the drum line, pulling this other element of guard through the horn line, just
Cool.
such a big, it's great.
And there's my take.
Oh,
The perpetual motion machine.
Yeah.
I think
now
our
it would
visuals.
all be body and lunges, but now it's just like this very subtle movement happening.
And that visual soloist in the horn line, that's Dan McLaughlin. He went on to become drum major for the A Corps. He used to do like 6 years, 5 years in the A Corps. This was his rookie year.
Yeah,
so cool.
Really fantastic.
This is probably my favorite sequence of this next probably 30 seconds of the whole show. The lines coming through each other. How that worked, I don't know, but it did.
All that 7/8.
And right here, all this scatter, everybody has a rubber around it. That's worked out over about 4 months.
And then it just locks.
Yeah.
A horn snap, very Vanguard. Did you hear that click?
Moment.
Man,
Oh my
you
God.
guys, it's so cool.
And this card, I'm watching them, and I think that I could probably freeze frame a lot of this stuff, and the angles would be perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think by the time all of their careers were done, I think about 7 or 8 in total went on to march in the A Corps at some point in time in the color guard. So it's just a testament to the staff of the color guard and how they were able to develop their talent and abilities.
I remember little Megan. I remember seeing her all the way to like 2007.
You guys are spread. You guys are spread.
Look at this art. This art was so much better than 5th place art. It was beautiful.
Man.
That's a big form.
Nice, you guys.
Yeah.
I remember hyping right here. I was hyping.
I was playing so loud, like my lips were the lips.
Get it!
Here
it comes.
This chord gets me.
I just got goosebumps.
Oh yeah. This is what it's about. This is what it's about.
And then this drumline roll here.
Amazing show.
Man, that was
amazing show.
Man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish they could zoom in on everybody.
Santa Clara, California.
Yeah, there's
The Vanguard Cadets.
That meant so much.
So much.
Yeah.
The SCV chant
man.
that originated in '99.
That was good, you guys. Oh man.
Yeah, what I was going to say there is that this drumline, a lot like the color guard, had so many members go directly up into the A Corps and into Blue Devils. It was so motivating to so many of these young people in this corps to be a part of something so awesome that they just couldn't get it out of their veins, and so many of these people in the whole corps just kept going for years.
I've had so many opportunities because of this in my career. I play with the Big Blue Notes right now, which is the Golden State Warriors house band, and I attribute it to drum corps, definitely.
All through the 1990s, we had a culture that was a bit kind of a anti-DCI ring, if you will, and it was not until this experience. And we all got these little rings from this wonderful corps, and that thing came in the mail, and it really meant something to me. It was the first time I was like, I love this ring. I get it now. It's in my shadow box up here. I would wear it to job interviews just so that I could look down and just go, "You've got this."
Nice.
You've got things, at some point in your life, and so it was a real experience through that whole thing. Just really the belief and just the raw sheer emotion and effort of that little corps. So we're about to go on to one of our final shows. I believe it was the actual championship show, and it's the middle of the afternoon, and we're standing out in the tunnel on the side of the stadium. And Bryan, me, a few others would work on, you got to stay focused. You got to keep these kids just like right on it and everything like that. And for some reason, out of somewhere, we're in the locked inside of the stadium thing. This guy rolls up on a motorcycle and he's wearing a white helmet, and he's got a tabby cat on his motorcycle. I'm standing there talking to the Corps and going, focus, everybody get in your game and everything like that. And this ridiculously awesome, funny thing is happening over there. And everybody's like, look at the cat. Look at that. How do you keep a bunch of 15 to 17-year-old kids totally focused on their game when you've got a cat on a motorcycle with a helmet? And then the color guard comes in, and it was just all cute. And they're running over, laughing, petting the cat and everything like that. And I'm like, I wish this guy would just leave.
This Corps was different. Maybe the same age on paper, but this was a different group of humans. And just, they trusted each other more, I think. You guys might disagree, Julio and Darnell, but from my perspective, I thought, man, there's something more to this group of kids than I had seen before. You know, I marched Cadet Corps in, 92 and 93. We went to, we got second place in 93, going back, wearing the old cummerbund uniforms and,
Nice.
but, this was like kind of harken back to that really like very purposeful, mission orientated group, and cultivated that. And it was just, I think one story that really stuck out to me, and when Myron came to talk to the Corps, I think it was like after our, I think it was after the show we just watched, honestly.
Rome, New York.
Oh, was it Rome?
Rome, yes, it was Rome.
No, but it was just so powerful, just to have him talk to because Spike, we marched A Corps, Julio, Mark, when Myron brings it in, you bring it in. You do that Cadet Corps, it's like, what do we do? It's like, go talk to Myron. You go run to him right now. It's like, but just to have him address, it's like, I think it was lost on the membership a little bit. It's like, well, we've heard of this guy,
A little over their head, but
but we had, it's like, okay, let's talk about that. That was very important that he did that to you guys. It's like we had to let's debrief what just happened to you.
You could be a part of that when we said Myron come over, and then they had the entire A Corps there and us, and then Myron just giving us all this just knowledge from the past. It was powerful. It was very powerful, especially having someone so great as Myron to actually do that for us. You know what I mean? I remember after finals, after everybody, we got together and we sang the song that Gary Megan wrote for our ballad. Everyone went out there with the medals on, and then marched the show again. And I remember, it was scarce in the audience because it was so late. It was going on 1 a.m. by the time we actually took the field again.
And then they got to perform, and the winner gets to perform Saturday night as an encore.
That's right. That's right.
It's
you guys, so the last show was not the last show. That is that is really cool though. It's almost like a parade of champions, right? Like you guys get to keep showing it off.
Yeah, we do that. We win Wednesday night. Awesome, great, high feeling. Well, now that means we got to do quarterfinals and compete against all the world class course. So we go out there and we do pretty well because obviously we want to represent. We're the Vanguard. We want to do well in quarterfinals and in competition, and everything's great. We're in Washington D.C., nation's capital. They planned a free day for us the day of semifinals. We're gonna take the buses to the National Mall, drop all these kids off, and hey, go enjoy DC. Awesome, great, thank you. We get back to the school after quarterfinals, like, good news, bad news. Good news, yeah. Well, you guys made semifinals. You're the first feeder corps to ever make semifinals. We're like, what? Oh my gosh. Bad news is now your free day's cut short.
And he was obviously a real professional at driving, and the guy could like back a bus up on the first time between two little cars and just nail it. But he was really fun, and we always played practical jokes on him, and he would play them right back on us, and he was just a really fun person, and he actually went up and had a conversation with the judges one time when he felt that we hadn't been given what we needed. And none of us knew he was going to go do that, but he found out who the judges were, and he comes up and he goes, "These kids are good kids. They're good kids. They work hard."
It was like Kennedy.
Yeah.
I
think my favorite memory comes from Bryan. Finals week, we go out and after everyone's done giving their report from staff at the end of the night, Bryan comes over and he goes, "Hey, so congratulations on winning prelims. You guys still got some work to do." Then he comes over Wednesday night. He goes, "Congratulations on winning finals. You got some work to do." goes into quarterfinals. He goes, congratulations on making quarterfinals. Still got some work to do. So when we get to semifinals, and he goes, congratulations on being the best cadet corps ever. The work is done. And that right there was a huge moment for me, being one of the 2 age outs. I was like, your work is done. And I felt like coming from 96, where we were literally the last corps in DCI, coming from a loser to a champion. You know what I mean? That was something big for me, and I still take it with me.
Bryan, with that, I would like you to say those words so that everyone in the Cadet Corps can hear you say it again.
Let me choke down my tears a little.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Yeah. I don't even remember saying that, but I think I do remember saying that. That's tough, but what did I say, Darnell?
I'll tell you. You said, "Congratulations, Cadet Corps. Your job is done."
Oh, yes. Good.
Or you are the best Cadet Corps.
Congratulations on being the best cadet corps. Your job is done.
Oh, good. Congratulations on being the best cadet corps. Your job is done.
That was good, man. That was good. I think
Thank you.
I don't know
Bryan.
that there's a better way that we could end this amazing video. I want to thank each one of our guests, Julio, Darnell, Bryan, Jeremy, for being here. John and I, this has been our pleasure to get to watch this show with you guys, and what a special show it was. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are enjoying these videos, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We do appreciate your support, and we are going to continue bringing you the inside stories about the shows that you love from the people who live them, just like we did today. And that's what we're going to keep doing. So thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next time on the next episode of the Fan-gard. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Hey, everybody, welcome
Every time.
back to another edition of the Fan-gard. My name's Mark, and I marched Santa Clara from 1997 to 2001.
I'm John. I marched in Santa Clara from 1979 through 1981.
And we'd like to welcome you to another edition of the Fan-gard. Today we have an amazing episode in store for you, ladies and gentlemen. This is the #1 most requested show, 2018 Santa Clara Vanguard, Babylon. So cool, so excited, and we have an amazing guest list for you. Hello, Sarah. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to do this. So I'm Sarah. I marched in the Vanguard A Corps from 2015 through 2018. And I played in the front ensemble. I played vibes. And in 2018, I was the percussion or front ensemble section leader. And so since then, I graduated undergrad at UT Austin, and I am currently pursuing a graduate school program. So, yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here. And next, let's go down to Miss Cheslee Morgan. Thank you so much for being here, Cheslee.
Thank you for having all of us. I marched in the A Corps from 2015 through 2019, which was my age out. And this 2020/2021 season, I was supposed to teach at Guardians Drum and Bugle Corps. So hopefully they'll invite me back again for the next season, because teaching Zoom call like camps was really fun. But I also just graduated in December from undergrad at Texas A&M University, and I will be moving to Austin, Texas pretty soon to start working as hopefully an environmental inspector. So that's what I've been doing.
Awesome.
Very cool.
So not busy at all. Awesome. Next, let's go down to Mr. Carl. Thank you so much for being here, sir. Drum Major 2018.
How's it going? Again, thank you for having me on board as well. Very excited to be here. Marched Vanguard Cadets from 2011 to 2015. Went to Phantom in 2016 as a conductor, and then came back as a drum major for the SCVA Corps 17 and 18, aged out in 18. Since then, graduated from UC Davis, studied microbiology, and then immediately after that went to EMT school, and I'm currently working as a EMT out in Santa Clara County, and I'm just, as I'm going through that, just pursuing a career as a physician assistant pretty soon.
Cool.
Wow.
Very cool.
That's very, very cool, Carl. Physician's assistant, noble calling, especially right now, and you being on the front lines. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an instructor from 2018. He hails from the brass section. His name is Mr. Mark Nichols. Thank you, sir, for being here.
Thank you for having us. After all those other introductions, I feel like the dumbest person in the room, because I'm just the music guy. All those other smart people there. Speaking of like real life things. So, but I marched in 1996 with one of the producers of the show, Tony Castro. He was my section leader in the contra section. And then I taught Blue Coats from 2007 to 2011. I came over to Vanguard in 2012. In 2016, I became the assistant brass caption head, and then starting in 2019, I was the brass caption head, and still currently with the drum corps. So excited to still be working with the members any way we can in this current environment. Day job is I'm a band director in Texas, Brazos Wood High School. But Cheslee is another Texas person, and Sarah is another Texas person. Carl is a Texas person at heart. We know Carl where he really would be from. If you had
look at that.
See?
Look at that.
I knew it was in there somewhere. So there's definitely a Vanguard Texas.
That's right. That's right. So let's talk about Babylon. What was the theme of this show?
the biggest theme was like communication and like how there was like a barrier, like we right at the beginning we lost communication with each other, and like the whole show is us trying to like talk to each other without being able to like use our voices. So like specifically in like the closer, we like dance all together, because that's like hip hop was supposed to be like a way to communicate with each other without like actually speaking. So just like the whole show is us trying to communicate.
So the kind of pre-show / ballad material is My Body is a Cage by Peter Gabriel. So that's what you hear twice. It's kind of the first thing you hear and the main ballad moments. It's probably one of the top 3 most iconic moments of this show is probably My Body is a Cage. It's definitely the most memorable melody. But I think just that movement of the show and definitely be able to hear it twice in 2 different settings. The first time is just a percussion setting. The second time is more of a brass setting. I mean, it was still full drum corps, but hearing in those 2 different depictions of it, that was definitely the unifying piece. I think if you ask someone, what did they play in 2018? The first thing they're going to say is My Body's a Cage. Journey to the Center of the Earth by Peter Graham.
And that transitions into
Metropolis 1927.
It is.
There was some pretty innovative percussion techniques used in the intro, right? Like you were doing things that had never been done before.
Yeah, the marimbas play a lot of triple laterals. Like it's incredibly fast, even though My Body is a Cage is typically, it's like a slow song generically, but all the rhythms that we're playing in the front ensemble are so many divisions of this slow song, and it actually, there's so many layers. Like if I showed you the music, you'd be completely taken aback by how many things are going on. And that's the thing that's really cool about Paul and Sandy's writing, is that all these different things are happening, but they just add a certain texture to the whole overall sound instead of just being really obvious with what is happening, if that makes sense. So everyone in the pit has a different part, which is really unusual for pits, I feel like.
Yeah, like right at the beginning, where the color guard's the one, and I think it was the color guard and the mellophones were the ones pushing the props open at the very beginning. And the point of it was supposed to be like, it was like a struggle, and like like the whole beginning's just supposed to be like, we're frustrated because we can't talk to each other. Like we're trying to say something, but it's either not being understood or not being heard. So everything that you see in the opener is really just like frustration, confusion, like a little bit of anger kind of thing.
Before I heard like the brass really play the ballad, in like spring training, I remember I was with the drums in Denton for that first week at UNT, and I remember seeing like what Sandy had wrote for the front ensemble, because I would spend the mornings with the front ensemble just looking over their parts, and it was already crazy. Sarah was talking about all those layers, and every single part was different, and I immediately, like, looking at that, I was like, wow, this is gonna be awesome. Like the Renix writing is already like really cool, but like this is just gonna be fantastic. And then the next week, once we finally brought everybody together for that second week of spring training, and the first time we did full music ensemble, and just hearing all that sound come across the field, like that, there's like no feeling, like there's no words to describe it. Like you have to be there. If any of you that are watching that were lucky enough to like be in the crowd when that ballad was played, like, you know what that feeling is. But it's just, I would give anything to like go back and just experience that, man. Like, minute.
We have to give the 2 soloists credit right now, right this minute. Who are those guys?
So there's actually a story that goes with them playing.
There says 3. What?
So Leo Garcia was the original soloist, and when it was originally written, it was written as one baritone part. Okay. And Leo, before our April camp, which is kind of our biggest music, kind of put everything together for the first time camp, live, full drum corps, color guards there for the first time, Leo got appendicitis. And so the second soloist, Skylar McKinnon, I messaged him maybe 3 or 4 days before camp, and I said, "Hey, I know you haven't been playing the solo. Could you learn it?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, no problem." And he's a professional musician now. He's a pro.
Awesome.
He learned it. He recorded all of our stuff that weekend. So everything we had from April camp was Skylar. And so we get to pre-tour, and Leo and Skylar like to just mess around all the time. Like they would play the bottle dance on 2 parts and make up harmonies and do this stuff and just play old shows and all this cool stuff. And they started playing My Body is a Cage, but Leo would play it legit and Skylar would play a jazz version of it. And JD heard it. JD Shaw, the arranger, heard it, and he went, hold up. What was that? Do that again. And they did it, and he said, that's it now. We're going to do it. And Skylar literally wrote it down on a sheet of staff paper and gave it to JD and said, this is what I've been playing, and that became the duet. So ironically, the duet wasn't originally written. It fits way better into the entire show. The dichotomy, the 2 sides, all of that. It works so much better than the original solo. But it's interesting because that's always a popular moment for people, and it kind of happened by accident. It kind of happened with 2 people just messing
I
around.
tell you. All right, so we got Body as a Cage. Whew. What was after that?
Club Sound was after that.
Oh my goodness.
And we the day before the first show, we put it in on the field with drill, and it was cool to do it with the horn line, especially because it was a time where we were literally all on the same playing field.
Do you remember who wrote the choreography to that?
It was Michael Rosales. He wrote the choreography from the beginning. So I'm pretty sure he taught it to everybody at the April camp.
Michael McGrew. The story behind Michael coming up with that dance, it actually credit actually has to go to Pacific Crest for dancing on the podium first. So Michael eventually just came up with how to do that dance, or part of that dance, on the podium. There was a rehearsal where I just looked over to Michael and he just something caught my eye, and then I saw him do the dance and I was like, wait, whoa. The rep ended and then we made eye contact, and Mark, you probably know this feeling of that drum major eye contact where you guys just start reading minds. Yo, what did you do? Show me how to do the dance. And he's like, okay. Then we met in front of the front ensemble, and he quickly showed me. I was never as good at it as he was. We added our very last addition to the dance, finals day, actually. We just we did the shoot, and then we looked at each other and we're like, we can just extend the dance 8 more counts, right? Nobody watches us anyways. Everybody's dancing, the drums don't need us. We can just do this, right? And it was like, yeah, why not? So finals day, we put in that last edition, the shoot, where the arm is pumping and the leg is kicking out as well at the same time. And yeah, so original credit goes out to PC, but Michael was definitely the mastermind behind all that. And it's an iconic moment now.
So the closer, real quick, Mark, tie this whole thing together.
Well, it's a Metropolis reprise. So Metropolis is used twice in the show. Great deal of, at least where the brass is playing the show, comes from Peter Graham material. He writes for British brass bands, so it translated really well. Especially the stuff you hear in the opener, it's just real. It's a lot of technique. Our Thomas Hubel was doing some triple tonguing stuff on the trumpet that was just insane.
If I didn't bring up the mellophone note,
well, they're actually still playing it right now. So if you find any of those mellophones from 2018, they actually are still holding.
No, I'm gonna fade it in as we talk right now. It's gonna just. Yeah.
And their nickname that was given to them and then they embraced was the Dreamline. Because it was, I think we had one new member in that mellophone line between 2017 and 2018. I think there was technically one person went from alternate to having a spot and the other person was the new member. And so it was already an incredible group. JD Shaw loves mellophones. He was a mellophone. He's a professional French horn player. He always wanted to feature it. And the trumpet trio, I know you brought them up from My Body's a Cage.
Yeah.
That all started at February camp in Texas. JD was there, and the original My Body's Cage is pretty bare bones version, just a melody, no more counterline, anything like that. And we have this great screen trumpet player, Michael Englar, who is now, I think, recorded the highest note in DCI history, and then last season went higher, just decided like he wanted to make sure he had the record for all time. And this trumpet trio, and it was JD in a gym with those guys just going, hey, who can play this? Okay, you got the C, you got the E, you got the G, and all of them just taking turns doing it. It just became this trio on top of it all, just that little extra spice at the end of it all to make it worthwhile. But yeah, it's incredible musicians. That was the theme of kind of 2018 is the talent was undeniable. And so you could play with the members a lot. Like when Cheslee talks about Mike Rosales, like he would go out there and be like, we have a show tonight? Good. Add these 24 counts. Cool. You good? You good? Okay, we're good. We'll do that later. And that's how talented the membership was. It wasn't like we needed to rep it 100 times or the first time percussion plays Club Sounds Live is the day of the first show. That's no big deal because they're professionals and they could do it. And that's what made it as a staff member a lot of fun. And I think as a member a lot of fun too, because you could go, yes, we can do this. Who cares? We learned this today. Absolutely put this in tonight. Or we put on a second ending and someone goes, hope that ramp comes out. Otherwise I'm going to fall down and bust my face. But they're fine. They're like, it's going to work fine. Why would it not work fine? It's going to work every single time.
Oh man, are you guys ready to watch this show? I am so excited to watch this show.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field from Santa Clara, California, the Santa Clara Vanguard.
Oh, people live for your intro.
That was an awesome intro. Like I'm really glad Andy Toth and like Michael Rosales like let us like kind of create our own thing during.
Carl,
I think it's
I don't
amazing.
know if you ever knew, but from the inside of the props, the color guard would go like, "Yay, go Carl!" Like when you would, like, because people would cheer, we'd be like, "Yay, Carl!" Like from the inside of the props.
Dude, I wish I knew that.
Yeah, and we would sing Lady Gaga's like "Bad Romance" on the inside, like when the show started. Like everybody did. And they told us to
Nice, Carl. Nice, Carl. Here we go, man, dude.
I like the Carl Tough face right before it starts.
We're told to have ego, so we did as much ego as we could.
And Kimmy and Chad.
Oh, this was such a beautiful moment.
And I don't think this ever had to change. I think they like got it on the first try.
Yeah, they really did. This part's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's Sarah.
Ugh.
And the color guard, we were like laying inside of the props, like stacked during this part, and we just like jumped out to push the props out.
Who's that?
That's Ashley, and I'm right behind her. Oh, these little voiceovers that you hear, those are all buttons on the DTX that we're hitting.
So aggressive. I love it.
Oh my god, I remember when the color guard was practicing this rifle throw in the circle. It's terrifying.
In finals, there was a girl that was not on rifle, or this is the encore run. A girl that was not on rifle took someone's rifle and went out and did that 7. It was Claire King took Hillia Stamper's rifle, went out and tossed a 7 and handed it back to her for the rest of the show. And that's me and HD up on top of the prop doing the flag stuff.
Yeah, Mark. Ooh.
And that's Hilly right there.
Nothing
This part was tough to
tubas
coordinate.
and 4-part harmony.
So cool.
Yeah.
Having like the tenors come in behind the tubas and like having the tubas so offset from the part ensemble, that was like a
It was
timing
tough.
nightmare.
Oh,
The
yeah.
whole entire season, but
Many
coordinating.
rehearsals where it did not go well.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw this Doppler effects by people spinning on the props, literally back to back.
Like that.
And this section for the flag line was really hard because we were spread out super far and we literally couldn't see a single other person.
This drum feature sounded this good the whole season.
Good old pirate music.
So many mellophone
And Hayden actually wasn't, he like spent most of his time with the color guard, but he was, I think, a trumpet player.
audition. Yeah, audition was a couple of
But he's the cheerleader at OSU. And he was in like Texas Royals or something. He lived in Denton or
He's Keller. From Keller.
yeah, he went to Keller High School, so
They did a
fantastic.
backflip during the audition camp, and we're like, we could use that.
Cool. I don't know if y'all just caught that, but that little like phase in time, this whole
I love that
like
part.
second movement 2A is all just in like crazy multimeter. It changes from like 3/4 to like 5/8, 6/8, and all sorts of stuff.
oh, I know that because it was really hard to count.
Oh yeah, I remember sitting up in the box with like Mark and Matt like for almost an hour just figuring out the count structure for that. But it was so cool when it all came together.
This
It just
baritone
has-
feature is so great, adding people the whole time.
Oh man. Oh, weapons. Nice.
This is Thomas Hubel.
And he's playing what's written, ladies and gentlemen.
And then there's Piccolo soloist. Yeah, it's from the original source material.
And the
That's
baritone.
the piccolo player
And it is
halfway
sick.
across the field playing in unison.
These two rifle boys, they wrote all of this choreography themselves. They were just like, hey, do some tricks and like write this part.
Wow.
And so that whole part.
Performers. You guys are all performers.
Oh, this part right here was so hard because right after this toss, we all pulled our masks up and we had like 8 count before we started into the next choreography. So it was like a lot of times you would like pull your mask all the way up on your face so your mouth was still showing or it'd be like inside out.
Very
The
little
best
time
thing
to
musically
adjust.
too is it's also through composed. There's never a moment where it stops. It just keeps going the entire time. Like maybe 2-3 counts, but it's all choreographed. Even if there's no music, there's something visually happening.
That's so cool. Running up and down these ramps was so risky for the drums.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We definitely had a couple accidents before.
This was a movement where the brass hated the word reset. Because they
Color
ran
is the word
everywhere.
reset.
They're moving everywhere.
Everyone who wasn't
gotta
the
catch some
drums
guard
hated the
members.
word reset.
Yeah. Tubas. Let's go. I need you to catch some guard members.
Well, and they had to wear shirts for like whenever they did that part because if not, the color, like they would just slip right through their arms.
All right. I'm going to catch my breath and get ready here. This is.
That's Tyler. He's the center marimba.
So this is Leo with the original solo.
Oh, and the color guard during this part, like we're split halfway on the field, and we do choreography when our baritone player is playing their part, and we hold the other side holds.
I don't
So
know
it's
that
like
I
a call and
noticed that
response
detail.
choreography.
Oh, that is so cool.
Oh, and this saber soloist, his hand was actually broken for most of the season, and he just like put on 2 gloves and was amazing all the time.
So Skylar McKinnon doing the improvised version of the solo.
I just have to say, Skylar and
They're both just
they're both amazing. They're both amazing.
such build up and tension beneath it. Snap heard around the world.
Here we go.
And the color guard right here actually like screamed too, but you can't tell.
Oh man.
Well, Michael, the first soloist, is actually from Hawaii, and the first even real marching band he did was Vanguard. Like he maybe did a 20-set show when he was in Hawaii. So half the opener was about the most drill he's ever learned.
This is such a cool part. All the electronic sounds are being played by the pit in the front, which was also pretty difficult to line up with all the drums because of the latency. Oh, there's a mallet.
It's all right. It's all right. Got extras.
Bass 5, I actually go to school with him, so I see him pretty often in Austin.
This entire battery section. Just disgusting. Here we go. Yeah.
So cool. I feel like they added a lot to this dance later in the season, like all the flips and stuff.
It like pretty much stayed the same, but there were like parts that were like layered to like make it look more effective.
There we go. Love it.
And then we all pointed at Peyton so you could see him do his backflip.
Nice.
Yes. He timed it so well.
Well, and Stone Lang, who is the horn sergeant, he does a scream. And you can hear in some shows, nothing in the last 2 weeks. He is screaming at the top of his lungs, but you cannot hear it on any recordings for the last 2 weeks.
This is chaos.
Here we go. Here we go.
Here's the mellow drill of death right in the middle of the field.
Oh, yeah.
This mellow, like all the notes.
Oh, so awesome.
It looks so good though.
I remember they weren't allowed to do that for like 2 weeks until they got it right, because that was just like so dangerous.
I love that unison moment that comes out of that beat. It's amazing. It's awesome.
This is my favorite part.
If you look on the 50, there was just the right amount of color guard people to where there's one boy standing on the 50 right here. He's 17. They didn't think that it like looked right for him to be on one part or the other, so he got his own little solo.
Here we go.
The mellow note that never ends.
love that part.
We actually didn't have to clean that flag work that much. It like kind of just.
It was always perfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, under the direction of Sean Gallant.
Look at that crowd going wild.
Santa Clara Vanguard.
You got to stay hyped all the way to the very end.
I think
man,
this ending was like super easy to stay hyped in because like I remember in finals specifically, they were like standing by the end of Club Sound.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're like all of movement 4 was still to go, and like people were already standing. And I was like, guys, wait, like, you're gonna be standing for a while. You might want to sit down.
Not every year does the Vanguard get to enjoy such a season where you're at the top. At what point did you realize this show was something really special?
For me, it was definitely like move-ins. It felt special because like the color guard doesn't hear music at all until like everybody's together. And like, so the first time we heard it, like there were people crying, like we all got goosebumps and we were like, oh my gosh, this music is already just amazing and we haven't even done anything yet.
Right.
And then the idea of the show, the props, when we first saw and then when we first started, like we read a book called The Energy Bus before we moved in. So like the whole core read this book and it was about, as Carl brings it up, it's just about like how to go into situations positively, how to avoid, like if you feel like you're being negative, how to avoid letting that spread to others. And it's just kind of like the whole book, even though it's like a little bit like cheesy, it like is really uplifting. And so everybody reading it coming in, we all came in with like this really positive mindset, like just ready to work. So I think that is like probably one of the biggest factors going into this. I mean, obviously the show design was amazing, the music was amazing, like we had very talented and like professional members that year, but like going in with just like, okay, I'm like ready to do this, let's do it. Like we're all here, like drum corps is hard, but like I'm gonna push past it. I feel like that was the biggest change, like out of all of the years I've marched, that was like the summer where we like put our heads down and worked from the beginning. And I think like it was like, oh, okay, my hard work's paying off, I'm just going to keep working hard while I'm at it. So
just a unique year of leadership in a really good way, that we had a lot of people in leadership in second or third years in a leadership role. Like Carl had been a drum major in 17 and moved to center podium, so like he had already been in that leadership role. Stone Wang was coming back as a horn sergeant, and a second-year horn sergeant just knows a lot more than a first-year horn sergeant. And just anyone in leadership roles had been with the Corps 3 or 4 years. You didn't have a lot of these second-year section leaders. And then Sean Gallant did a great job of bringing the leaders together beforehand, having a mission together, having a game plan for when things go wrong, what do we do? Not waiting until they go wrong, but have a pre-plan. And so the leaders could take it. And it was, as a staff member, is great. Like you didn't really have to bring everyone in and huddle. You could go to a Carl and say, Carl, it doesn't seem so great today. Can you talk to everybody? And he would do it.
Carl, what was your favorite spot in the show to conduct?
The closer. Once we hit the reprise of like Metropolis, it was easy on the arms and you could just like go all out. But it was just like a good moment because starting from like DCI San Antonio, that's when people started to get up and like they knew like the end was coming. So like you can literally hear people like start to rustle in their seats as soon as like Club Sound's like finishing, and then you hear people getting up and like you can hear them talking behind you like, hey, get up, like something good's gonna happen. They're like, what's going on? And then suddenly we like D-shell, like big brass hit, like and then the flags go up in the air and everybody's just like, whoa, that's crazy, but it's not even over yet. And then like the mellophones come in, and then more people are like screaming, and it's one of those moments where like, again, like you just can't hear anything.
Just coming together, and
yeah,
people that were pulled apart at the end are going to be reunited. And I get chills just thinking about it, Carl. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. I want to thank all of our guests. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you so much, Cheslee. And thank you so much, Carl. And thank you so much, Mark. So ladies and gentlemen, if you are enjoying this content, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button for us. And we will see you next time here on the Fanguard. Thank you. Join us next Friday for a Fan-gard premiere episode reviewing 2003 Santa Clara Vanguard. Featuring Nick Rodriguez, Stuart Shulman, Emily Mavrutis Contreras, and Mr. Key Poulan.
Yeah, my name's Key Poland.
Mr. Key Poulan.
Everybody tries to make it French, but you know.
Mr. Key Poland.
Yeah, Key Poland.
Next Friday, 5 p.m.